Aram Chaiva Naruttamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashtaprayesu Vadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshulumritam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Adati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurun Shri Yuttapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Shah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavanishwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sandubhya Cha Patidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Gratara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 10. Maharaj Rahugana meet Jat Bharat. Text number 6. Aho kastam pratur vyaktam urupashrantu Dirigam adhanam eka eva Aho kastam pratur vyaktam urupashrantu Dirigam advanam eka eva Aho kasam vratar vyaktam uru prashritantu Dirigam advanam eka eva Aho, alas, custom, how troublesome it is. Brata, my dear brother, Vyaktam, clearly, Uru, very much, Parisanta, fatigue, Dirgam, along, Advanam, part, Eka, alone, Eva, certainly, Uhivan, you have carried Suchiram for a long time. Na, not. Atipiva, very strong and stout. Na, no. Samhana na angaha, having a firm, tolerant body. Jarasa, by old age. Cha, also. Upadruta, disturbed. Bhavan, yourself. Sake, my friend. No, ever, not certainly. Appare, the order. Ete, all these. Sangatina, co-workers. Iti, thus. Bahu, very much. Vipralamdha, sarcastically criticized. Api, although Avidyaya, by nations. Rachita, manufactured. Dravya guna, karma asaya, in a combination of material elements, material qualities, and the results of past activities and desires. Swacharama, kalevare, in the body, which is moved by the subtle elements, mind, intelligence, and ego. Avastuni, in such physical things. Samstana, Visese, having a particular disposition. I have mama, I and mine. Iti, in this way. Anadhyarupita, not interposed. Mithya, false. Pratyaya, belief. Brahmabhuta, who was self-realized, standing on the Brahman platform. Tushnim, being silent. She became the palanquin. Puravavat, as before. Uvaha, carried. Translation and purport by Divine Grace, H.H.BHakti Swami Prabhupada. King Rahugana told Jat Bharat, how troublesome this is, my dear brother. You certainly appear very fatigued because you have carried this palanquin alone without assistance for a long time and for a long distance. Besides that, due to your old age, you have become greatly troubled. My dear friend, I see that you are not very firm, nor very strong and stout. Aren't your fellow carriers cooperating with you? In this way, the king criticized H.H.BHakti with sarcastic words. Yet, despite being criticized in this way, H.H.BHakti had no bodily conception of the situation. He knew that he was not the body, for he had attained a spiritual identity. He was neither fat, lean, nor thin, nor had he anything to do with a lump of matter, a combination of the 5 gross and 3 subtle elements. He had nothing to do with the material body and its 2 hands and legs. In other words, he had completely realized his spiritual identity, Aham Brahmasmi. He was therefore unaffected by this sarcastic criticism from the king. Without saying anything, he continued carrying the palanquin as before. Purport. H.H.BHakti was completely liberated. He did not even care when the dacoits attempted to kill his body. He knew that he certainly was not the body. Even if the body were killed, he would not have cared, for he was thoroughly convinced of the proposition found in Bhagavad Gita 2:20. Na hanyate hanyama ne sarire. He knew that he could not be killed even if his body were killed. Although he did not protest, the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his agent could not tolerate the injustice of the dacoits. Therefore, he was saved by the mercy of Krishna, and the dacoits were killed. In this case, while carrying the palanquin, he also knew that he was not the body. This body was very strong and stout, in sound condition and quite competent to carry the palanquin. Due to his being free from the bodily conception, the sarcastic words of the king did not at all affect him. The body is created according to one's karma, and material nature supplies the ingredients for the development of a certain type of body. The soul the body covers is different from the bodily construction. Therefore, anything favorable or mischievous done to the body does not affect the spirit soul. The Vedic injunction is Asanguhi Ayam Purusha. The spirit soul is always unaffected by material arrangements. Maharaj Rahugana is enjoying his position as a king. the influence of his big position is affecting him and made him blind. There is a physical blindness which our physical eye will not see, the physical object. There are also many things that makes someone become blind. Lust can make one become blind. Greed can also make someone become blind. Opulence, position can make someone be blind. Ignorance makes one also blind. Maharaj Nahugana is blind by the position he has. So as a king, he's being carried by a palanquin. The blindness is making him to sarcastically insult a Maha Bhagavat. Because he's blind, he cannot see anything. He cannot see that the person who is carrying me is superior to me, or he is fit to be my spiritual master. Because he's blind. Although he is blind and he's doing his blind activities, H.H.BHakti is also doing his own divine activities based on his position. Both of them are acting according to their platform. Here, H.H.BHakti is showing us what is bhakti. Bhakti is not theory. Bhakti is not theory. Bhakti is practical. Bhakti is a person. And those who have association with bhakti can experience it because it's something tangible. One can feel it, one can experience it, one can demonstrate it. Like in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna asked Krishna, you are teaching me to develop Krishna consciousness. I want to know from you, is there any person who has developed these qualities you are teaching me? I want to see. Is there an example? Is there any person I can see? In other words, Arjuna is asking, to be successful in everything, there must be a leader, parampara. Who is my friend, already a pure devotee with all these qualities you are describing to me? I want to see. That will convince me to know that yes, I am on the right path. I'm not doubting you. I'm not doubting you. I just want to convince myself that yes, this process works. Anyone who follows this process are teaching me will attain the goal. I want to see. How does the person walk? How does he sit? How does he speak? Arjuna is asking. A person in divine consciousness, how does he engage his senses? Like conditioned souls? Not only how does he engage his senses, how does he react to the opposite thing, H.H.BHakti? How does he react? When he is offended, when he is criticized, when he is blasphemed, when he is being tortured and he is unlawfully justified. How does he respond to situations against the false ego? So here is H.H.BHakti, a perfect example. That he is not the body, that also can be theoretical. A person who simply understands I'm not the body, and then what? It's an impersonalist. Ambromasmi is an impersonalist. One who knows I am not the body, I am a spirit soul, and is engaged fully in activity to a spirit soul is a personalist. H.H.BHakti. H.H.BHakti is showing, not externally, he is showing what is inside. What is the nature of the mind? What is the nature of his consciousness? What is the situation, the platform of his bhakti, his devotion for Krishna? He has been practicing Krishna consciousness for long. What is the proof of Krishna consciousness? What is the level that you belong? If the foundation of bhakti is not strong, one cannot maintain equilibrium. One cannot maintain steadiness. One cannot face the challenges that will come, which will come, certainly. Srila Prabhupada said, everything will be tested. Your Hare Krishna jap, you will be tested. Your hearing will be tested. Your reading will be tested. Your service will be tested. Everything will be tested. At what time? When we are leaving this body. Everything we have been doing as a devotee for the whole lifetime will be tested at the time we are quitting the body. It will be tested. H.H.BHakti is being tested here, and he is showing to us that he was not a pretending devotee. He was a sincere, dedicated, loyal devotee who faithfully followed what the Guru has taught him, or the principles of devotional service. He was sincere. What he has practiced is now showing. So what is inside will show outside by our activities. Maharaj Rahugana has insulted him, called him names, chastising him here. My dear brother, this is not from his heart. He called him my dear brother. This is not from his heart. This is an insult. He's insulting him. But H.H.BHakti, what is the reaction? They said because he does not identify with the body, he has transcended the body platform. I and mind is absent in his life. I'm not the body in practice. He did not accept all the garbages the king offered to him. He rejected all the garbages, sent them back to the king. But because of his purity, it is because of his purity that he is able to tolerate everything without being agitated. He was never disturbed. He was never agitated by the insult of the king. This is not because he is carrying his king. It is because of the quality of his devotion that gave him the strength to tolerate everything. He has tolerated everything without difficulty. A person who is not on his level will tolerate everything with grudge in the mind. H.H.BHakti tolerated without grudge because he is not on the body platform. So he never accepted what the king is saying to be part of him. He rejected everything. He sent everything back to the king. This is purity. Purity is the force. His purity is showing here, and his purity is going to affect those who are criticizing him. A devotee is a devotee because of certain qualities. What's the quality H.H.BHakti is showing here? Not only that he did not take offense, not only that he was not angry, not only that he is just tolerating everything, H.H.BHakti showed him compassion. This is an ignorant fool who is under the influence of the three modes of nature. He does not know anything. Therefore, why should I be angry with an innocent person? He's a fool. Lord Krishna himself said the same thing. If someone approached me, the Supreme Person of Godhead, who is Bhagavan, who wants everything, and he asks me for something which will put him or her in trouble, I don't respond in the same way. Because I know this person is a fool, and I'm not a fool like him or her. Therefore, I don't respond in the same way. I respond in a different way. Considering the welfare of this person, this fool, I will gradually purify him from his contamination and give him a bhakti. So H.H.BHakti, who has the qualities of the Supreme Person of Godhead, is manifesting the same thing here. Was not offended by the foolish word of the king. And at the same time, he's thinking, how can I help this man? We should learn from him because on a condition level, we act in a different way. Whenever there is difficulties, we face a challenge, we don't consider the cause. We always consider the instrument. H.H.BHakti does not consider the cause. He considers the instrument. He considers the cause. When we are confronted with difficulties, how do we respond to that? The challenges which a devotee faces in Christian consciousness or will face in Christian consciousness are perfect arrangement made by Krishna and the spiritual master to help us. But because of ungratefulness, we reject the arrangement which Krishna constantly made to purify us. by how we react negatively to the situations. It's a refusal to grow. So, sincere devotees, wonderful devotees, they always respond positively to all situations. In other words, they use every situation to make advancement and help the other person also to make advancement. This is bhakti. The one who has bhakti use every opportunity for elevation, for advancement. Every opportunity is a wonderful chance for progress in Christian consciousness. He is consciously aware the Lord is very merciful, the Lord is very kind, the Lord is always concerned about our welfare. He is constantly making arrangement. What is the next arrangement my Lord is making for my progress? So he's prepared. So every situation is a wonderful chance for progress. For a sincere devotee who is making advancement, a fortunate devotee who is making advancement, who will make advancement in Krishna consciousness. So devotee will act in such a way that he gets elevated without selfishness. He gets elevated and the other person also gets elevated. It's bhakti. He will act in such a way that the person who is acting in ignorance gets elevated. H.H.BHakti Maharaj is going to manifest that very soon. He's going to become the spiritual master of the king who is blaspheming him, who is criticizing him because of his purity. Narada Muni saw some devotees who were performing austerity. And Narada Muni saw that the austerity is very, very high. The next step after the level where they were could make them pure devotee. So Narada Muni took compassion and he went to them and told them, don't waste the result of the austerity you are performing. Become a devotee. Take to Krishna consciousness. And they followed the Muni's instruction and took to Krishna consciousness. Their father became very angry, Daksha. Daksha became very angry. He came to Narada. He said, Narada, what is this you are doing? What are you teaching my children? They have not developed some maturity. Their heart is not yet purified to take the renunciation. Why are you teaching them immature renunciation? Now the Muni did not say anything. Daksha said, I will curse you. Now the Muni didn't say anything. He didn't run away. He didn't say anything. Daksha was cursing Narada Muni. Narada Muni did not run. He didn't curse him back. He didn't become angry. He didn't run away. He stood there. Sukadeva Goswami said, Narada Muni stood there to purify Daksha. Just look at Bhakti. He has the power to curse Daksha. He didn't do that. He didn't become angry. He was not afraid and run away. He stood there. He stood there. His presence is to purify the person who is against him, who is attacking him. Narada Muni stood there to purify the enemy. H.H.BHakti Maharaj, he stood there to purify the enemy. One who has bhakti will show it. They were not pretenders. Therefore, their bhakti changed their situation and made them devotees. So bhakti is not an artificial thing. It is not theory. Bhakti is a person. Bhakti is practical. Bhakti can be felt. Yes. Why did he run away? Because he was looking upon the so-called enemy with compassion, and he showed him compassion. So, as Maya is contagious, bhakti is also contagious. Those who have it, they will show it. And those who are ripe for it, they also get it. So, H.H.BHakti Maharaj the Mahabhagavat is not affected by the modes of nature. It's not affected by the external nature of Krishna. Never affected. He has crossed beyond. So nothing material can affect him because he's completely spiritual. Nothing material can affect him. So today, being the disappearance of Sri Lokanath Das Goswami, we'd like to purify ourselves by hearing some things about him. Just a small thing about him. Sri Lokanath Das Goswami is mentioned as follows in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Sange Gopal Bhatta Dasa Raghunatha Raghunath Bhatta Gosai Ara Lokanath. When Rupa Goswami stayed at Mathura, he was accompanied by Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, and Lokanath Das Goswami. The Divine Grace Lesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada gave the following information about Lokanath Das Goswami. Sri Lokanath Goswami was a personal associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and a great devotee of the Lord. He was a resident of a village named Talakadi in the district of Yashohara in Bengal. Previously, he lived in Kachnapar. Right? His father's name was Padmanabha, and his only younger brother was Pragalbha. Following in the orders of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Lokanath Das Goswami went to Vrindavan to live there. And there he established a temple named Gokulananda. Sri Narottam Das Thakur selected Sri Lokanath Das Goswami to be his spiritual master, and he was his only disciple. Because Lokanath Das Goswami did not want his name mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we do not often see it in that celebrated book. I worship the lotus feet of Lokanath Das Goswami, the son of Sri Padmanabha. He is a storehouse of single-minded service to the lotus feet of Sri Sri Radha Vinod. In the village of Talakori Gram in the Yashohara district lived the mother and father of Lokanath Das Goswami. His father's name was Padmanabha and his mother's name was Sri Sita Devi. Sri Padmanabha Bhattacharya was a very dear follower of Sri Advaita Acharya. One day, Sri Lokanath Das Goswami took his bed in the house of Sri Padmanabha and Sri Sita Devi. His youngest brother's name was Sri Pragalbha Bhattacharya. The descendants of Pragalbha still live in Talakori Gram. From his early childhood, Lokanath Das Goswami was indifferent to family life. One day, giving up his mother and father and leaving his home behind forever, he went to Mayapur in Navadvip to take darshan of the holy feet of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Sri Gauranga Dev embraced Lokanath Das Goswami with great affection. And soon he ordered Lokanath Das Goswami to quickly go to Vrindavan. But Lokanath Das Goswami could understand by certain evidence that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would leave home and take sannyas within 2 or 3 days. Therefore, he was in great anxiety. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could understand the mind and heart of Lokanath Das Goswami, and he consoled him, saying, "We shall be united, you shall be reunited in Vrindavan." In those connections, Srila Narahari Chakravarti has written in his Bhakti Ratnakara, while he was weeping and weeping, crying out his heart at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lokanath Das Goswami felt himself being caught up and embraced by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Later, as Lokanath bid farewell, the Lord gave him a confidential message which consoled him greatly. After this, he offered his soul at the lotus feet of Sriman Mahaprabhu, and after giving his pranamas to all the devotees, he went on his way to Vrindavan. After this, Lokanath never returned to his home. Rather, afflicted with deep separation from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he began wandering from one holy place of pilgrimage to the next. Gradually, after visiting